Dinner with the Diller.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been a long time. I had a slight delay, but welcome to another episode of Dinner with the Diller. We are back. I'm back on my podcast journey like I'm supposed to. Blame it on Ratchet Bingo, not on me. But today I have next to me a super, very cool, very talented, super dope individual. A.E. the Cool. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I can't complain at all. So, I was sitting there saying, man, I need to get back on this podcast journey.
Mm-hmm.
Just a platform to kind of connect people with, the creatives and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I was like, who can I get? And I had no idea. And then me and you were texting and you asked me about the whole top 5 rap list. And I was like, that's who I need to talk to.
Yeah.
That is exactly who I need to talk to. So, first introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are, what you do, your position in the Augusta community.
Ooh. Well, my name is A.E. the Cool. I am a singer, songwriter, recording artist from Augusta, Georgia. I also have, a show that I curate, The Cool Down.
I guess.
I'm like, I call it a show? Like it's
Yes.
more of like a
It's a show.
like a jam session.
It's still a show.
Yeah, The Cool Down that I co-curate with Kig from Pop Up Augusta.
Shout out
So,
Kid.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start with people know that you're an artist.
Mm-hmm.
You've released some music. We've had a chance to collab on some music.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, how did you get started as a vocalist? Like, where did it come from?
So I started, I was singing in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of snowballed into performing out in the community. I did different award ceremonies. I was singing like the national anthem here and there. And it wasn't really until maybe like, I don't even know. Like, I guess maybe going on maybe exactly 10 years now, 10 years ago, where I was like, I'm going to try and be a recording artist.
Okay.
Because at the time I was only, doing special events. Like
Okay.
I'd only perform here in the area for special events. And I was like, but I am a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And I've written music since I was like 8 years old. And so I was like, if I don't put this music out, I'm going to regret it later on in life. So that's how all of that started.
Gotcha. I think I met you at Fresco. I think Libra had an event.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I think, they had an event. And somebody told me about you, and I heard some music. And I was like, oh, she's really dope. And that was the first time I was aware of the music.
It's a lot of y'all I can't remember. I can never remember where it was specifically that I met y'all. It's just
when she had the shop on 8th Street, it was like a couple doors down for the old humanitary.
right.
Yeah, I met you there and just kind of paid attention from there.
Yeah.
So you've released several projects. Tell me what inspires you, because your most current project, you sound like you've been you sound
I've
like
been going through it.
Mary J, heartbroken a little bit there. So I'm like, this is a little bit more heavier than before.
I think, it's funny because I always joke about how the music that I was writing before was kind of based off of imagination, because I would go through things, but I wasn't really like going through nothing. Like I was very sheltered growing up. So like my first taste of like outside was like very innocent. And so I could only kind of use like what other people were going through and just kind of imagining like how I would feel. I think the first song that I wrote that actually applied to me was Heart Shot.
Okay.
Heart Shot was the very first song, was like, this is something that I've actually gone through. And then everything else, I experienced those types of situations after the fact.
Okay.
Which is really crazy. Like I kind of like called it into existence. So it's really wild. But yeah, I just watching people, I love like falling in love, falling out of love. I always love that story. And that's something that I know everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
And then I always have something about like the grind, like how hard I work and getting somewhere and the dream and just those things that everybody deals with on an everyday basis.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I've told you my favorite songs that you've done. You know, some of them I think you're not. You know, I still love Stuck.
Yeah.
But I think when you that first line of I think A Different World, I don't want to die to go platinum. That resonates with me. I'm two steps from getting that tattoo.
Yeah.
Because it hits so heavy. It's like, oh my God, like that's a real thing for artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you're trying to be true and be authentic to who you are, and a lot of times it might not fit whatever's the common mold at the time. So it's almost like, even though I understood you have experimented working with other people with music, and then you have the music that you love, and it's like after hearing that, I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And 2020 was rough for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it was a rough time, and that's when I wrote A Different Place. A Different Place, I actually wrote in 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a funny story is I was recording A Different Place at Bottom Line, and I had the studio time, and I hadn't really sat with the song. I was playing the beat, but I hadn't really sat with it and like written it. Like I had the hook together, and I kind of had a melody for the verses, and I was like, well, I can't go to the studio and not have anything. Like, I don't like going to the studio and trying to figure it out there at that time, because it's like I don't have the money to do that. Like, I gotta go to the studio and get what I need to get done. And so I sat in my room and I kind of put it together, and then I went to the studio and I recorded it. But that line was something that like I kind of kept saying, like while I was in the car, when I was sitting, like it stuck with me, because it like you said, it does resonate with all of us. Like, not only do I not want to be gone before people recognize who I am, but I also don't want to kill myself trying to get there. Like I only have one life, so I want to enjoy it. I want to find that balance, so it's kind of a double meaning there.
Okay.
And it resonates with everybody. Loves that line. So
yeah. So you just released a new project. Has it been about 2 months now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it has.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
almost 3.
Almost 2
Almost
months.
3. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell me where you at with that project, because again, I've listened to it and I'm like, yeah, I should have been through some stuff.
Well, Chasing Love is actually like 5 songs that some of those songs I've had for probably like 3 years. So
I'm not the only one to do that. Okay.
Yeah. So I was going through it. But the songs that kind of wrap up like everything that I went through was Red Light and Chasing Love. Memorial I wrote, I believe, in 2021. I can't remember off the top of my head. And that was, I was coming out of a breakup when I initially started writing it. In 20, I won't put too many dates out, put my business out.
Gotcha.
But somewhere, I think somewhere before the pandemic. And so it's just Memorial. It started with Memorial, because Memorial was the song about, like your experience in breakup. But there's still these good times that you miss. And it's like, oh, I don't want to think about these good times. Like, I just want to let them go.
Yeah.
So I had a little situation, and I was really like mad about it. And this is Red Light. And it's just like, for me, it was like, you took me through all of this. Like, I went through all of this, and like, you're not even my man for real. Like, you're not even my man for real. Like, we done gone through all this stuff. And yes, I made mistakes too. There are things that I've done in this situation that was weird, and like, I get that. But it's like, you wasn't even my man.
Yeah.
So it's a red light, which is like a play off a red flag.
Yeah.
And the villain in Hennessy, those were just kind of fun. Like, I haven't really been in either of those situations ever, but they were fun. Like, it was just a fun. Yes, the villain, produced by Last Name Good in Atlanta. He sent me that beat a long time ago, and I know you know firsthand how I like to hoard beats. I'm so sorry to everyone out there who has ever sent me a beat. I be hoarding them, and I'm so sorry. But I recorded that song. Like, I wanted it to feel like James Brown, you know, because I'm being from Augusta. Like, I've always wanted a song that kind of had that James Brown feel, just out of respect for him. And then Hennessy, you know, the one kind of critique that I get from everybody is that, like, hey, I love your music, but like, you don't really have anything that we can like dance to. And I would love to. I think Kool-Aid was one, but you know, like, out and like they want to be out. Like, I would love to be out and just hear AE the Cool. And so I got that beat from a guy named YNL in Canada. And so I was like, okay. So I was kind of playing and having fun with it, and then it ended up fitting with these songs. And so Hennessy is funny because the joke is that, like, I don't like Hennessy. So I'm keeping the Hennessy just to be petty because I don't even like it. So that's the play on Hennessy. Like, you can have all your stuff back, but I kept your Hennessy and I drank it. So it was just a fun way to, like, get rid of, like, this, like, stale energy that I had about a messy situation. And it turned into something beautiful, which is what Chasing Love is at the end, which is like, you go through all this, but then you realize on the other side of it is the issue is not the other person, it's the fact that you're not loving yourself enough to understand what you deserve.
You just said a mouthful.
And so that's what Chasing Love is all about. Like, the I am the love that I'm looking for. And once I am a whole person, it's easier to find someone out of abundance.
Gotcha.
So, you know, that's Chasing Love, the EP.
Dope. I love this. I love to hear. You know, you listen to it is one thing, but when you hear how it's painted, how it came together, yeah, it's dope. So you have that project. You have the Cool Down. The show.
Like my late night R&B sets every second Saturday. I'm out of town. I know, every second Saturday you're out of town.
But you know what? We take a break in September. So what's the date for September?
Ooh, September 14th.
Perfect. I'm there.
Come through.
I'm not going nowhere.
And I never pressure, like, my fellow artists or fellow curators, like, to come to nothing because we busy.
Yeah. So
it's like, and you're working. So it's like, I understand. I get it. And when you're free, you'll come. So I'm never pressed.
Yeah, but for me, it's I agree with you on that too. I don't do that to others. But for me personally, it's the opposite because it's two things. One, when I'm able to go to someone else's event and just enjoy the event, I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's now Queen Sheba had an event in Atlanta a week ago. No, I don't have to be at the door. I don't have to pay attention to none of these, logistics, and just enjoy the event. And definitely, if the people that I respect, their talent and their skills, so I definitely want to be there for that. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I get both sides, but for me, I make it my business. Like, bro, if you're in town, you need to kind of support the city. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, you lose out on certain things. So yeah, no, that's dope. So what's next for you?
Ooh, what is next for me? Well, I am releasing a single in the fall.
Okay.
I recorded it in Ghana when I went to Africa last year. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. It's called Don't Let Me Go. And I feel like it's a good kind of like tying a bow on the Chasing Love era, because it's also another song about self-love, but it's sang in a way to where, like, if you are wanting to sing it about somebody else, you can. But personally, it's about self-love. I'm going to perform it for the first time at Arts in the Hearts next
wow.
month.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Which stage you gonna perform it on?
So I am performing it. I'm performing it on the global stage
What
that
about
Friday.
You gonna perform it on the other
So
stages
I haven't decided yet because I have, for me, like it's the soul suite. So I want that cool down energy. So that's what I'm wanting. Like,
too? I'm gonna tell you right now, if I
you don't want that?
listen, if I get a chance to break away and show up on your down at the Globe and I hear that record, and I'm like, fam, I want that on my stage too now. Wait a minute now.
And then I'll have a backup set list just in case.
Yo.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. And I'll have to tell you about my plan for my set later. So I feel like I need to see what you think now, just in case I have to change it. Because if you don't like it, then I'm going to be upset.
No, be honest with you, the Soul Suite stage, which is the part of Arts and Heart, for me, I just wanted it to be a situation where we had a platform for the soul of what I would consider Augusta, whether it be R&B, whether it be hip hop, whether it be, we do the DJ versus battle, we have fashion. It just brings a different element. So I'm not really, I like being able to kind of work with everybody and just have this big pool of different talents that people can come and enjoy, and I can kind of be like, yes, you need to be here for this person, you need to be here for that person. So I'm cool with whatever direction you go. I just,
okay, good.
as a curator, I be selfish sometimes. I be wanting some of the same greatness on this stage
It's
too.
always great now.
It's always greatness, but I want the new stuff too now.
It's new. Well, I'll splash it in there. How about that?
That'll work.
We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll do it.
Okay. So you got a new single. Any other things? Any other ventures coming?
So I am working on a tour, which, as an independent artist, is not easy.
No, it's not.
So that's why I say working on, and I'm not confirming nothing yet until I have all of that in stone. But that's something that I've never done.
We should talk off camera now.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But I've traveled to all of these different places. I can claim to be a regional artist because I perform regionally.
Yeah.
And so I've made all of these connections, and I feel like I can turn them all into a tour. And so that's what I'm going to do. Just to travel and be more intentional about my performances and my show. And then other than that, I'm just doing a lot more writing. I know you also know firsthand that I'm a person that usually I write the song, put it out, do the project, put it out. But now I'm in a space of just creating and putting some stuff in the holster, and then put everything out on the table and then do that versus like waiting.
Yeah.
So I'm in a space to where like I want to be creative. Like I've spent a lot of the year kind of pushing a project and having to do a lot of the, I guess I'll call it like the admin side. And so it doesn't leave a lot of time for being creative when it's just you.
People don't know.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they absolutely do not. And I do the very best that I can, but it's like when you're the one that has to do everything, it's like you have to stop and like I got to do this. And so I'm ready for that time where I can like stop and just build and create again.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to as we go into the cold season.
Gotcha.
And we go back inside.
Gotcha. So I also want to ask you just some questions outside of just your perspective.
Okay.
How do you feel about the Augusta music scene?
Oh my God. The Augusta music scene.
Tell me what you like and don't like. Let's do that.
The Augusta music scene, I guess in my experience and perspective.
Be honest.
There is a lot of, I feel like, unseen talent.
Oh, of course.
All the time. And I think it's because of how divided it is.
Okay. Tell me how you feel it's divided.
I think, I don't know. know. It's really hard for me to explain because I'd be lying if I said that I pay a lot of attention. I think me personally, I've been blessed to be able to kind of go outside of Augusta early on. And when I came into, I guess, the music scene, I didn't really know a lot of people. Like I came from Columbia County and I went to a white church. So I wasn't connected with any musicians or like really anything that was going on in like the downtown Richmond County area until later on. So I come in and I get to meet different people from, I'll say different sides, but it's just, you know, you'll have a group of musicians over here that all hang out and play together, and then you'll have this group over here. And I've kind of been able to kind of mosey on over and kind of hang out with each and every one, but it's never felt connected. And I guess that's the way. So it's not necessarily divided, but it doesn't feel connected. And there's so many of us. That's something that I've been able to witness. And so because there's so many of us and it's the music scene is not elevated in a way that I think that it should be, it's weird. But at the same time, I don't really speak out about that a lot because I don't really know what to do. Like I'm still very focused on my success. And I've just now gotten to a place where I feel like I have the kind of the connections and the access to start to create different things and opportunities. Like with the cool down, I know people come to the cool down and they get a great show. So if I put on something else and then put my name on it, more than likely people will come out expecting a good show because they know that I provide that quality. And I just feel like if more people would do that, there'd be more opportunities. I ran into an issue really recently, actually, where, you know, somebody was saying like, you know, like I'm tired of seeing the same people perform. Like, you know, like I don't ever get to perform and like the same people. And I mean, obviously I knew who she was talking about because yeah, you know, but at the same time, it happens on all levels. Like there's situations where I'm like, well, dang, no one's called me to do that, and I haven't had the opportunity to do that. But I think instead of, you know, going on Facebook or going somewhere and creating more division, I try to figure out, one, why am I not getting chosen in the first place? Because I may not be a good fit. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know if I'm even answering the question. I have no way to bring this home.
No, I got you.
But there's just, we're not connected. And so I guess initially I said divided, and I don't think that was the right word. It's just there's not a cohesiveness to where I've seen in other spaces where people are more likely to unite and let's come together and figure out how to make this work. I haven't really seen that aspect of it, and so that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I've witnessed that early on, so I was like, well, let me go on and do what I need to do and get my stuff together. And it's just, you know, as I continue to kind of be in the mix, there is a shift. Thank you. There is a shift, but it's like, why is it not happening quicker? And I don't have the answer. So I say that and knowing that I haven't really, you know, had anything to contribute to that. But
I think so. For me, I think you always, regardless of how unified it is, it's always going to be pockets. You're always going to have, you know, this group here, this group here, this group here. I think the big issue is that people are not betting on themselves. You, for example, just explain all these different things that you do for yourself from a musical standpoint as an artist. I can't count too many other people that's doing that. And I think that becomes the problem. I don't know if it's necessarily out of fear or just them not knowing how or whatever. I'm an elder artist, you know what I'm saying? And when I started, we had to create spaces.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Whether it was, at one time we would rent Bell Terrace or the Boathouse or whatever these places are and create these spaces to be able to function in. I think if people would do more of that, two things would happen. One, they would build their fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they would get experiences just like you are. So now, through these experiences, now you're saying, okay, I'm ready to scale up and start doing the tour. Same for myself. I didn't do a bunch of shows in a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm.
Before Ratchet Bingo started, I had some experiences doing stuff in Charlotte, stuff in Augusta, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But just kind of like slowly, gradually building it and going different places. That's just what it's been.
Yeah.
So I think I want to challenge artists. I think sometimes people don't understand there's more to it than just going in the studio and recording.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just even getting on stage and performing.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately and unfortunately, you have to do everything now.
Yeah.
You have to market yourself. You have to promote yourself. You have to, do your own stylist, cultivate your visuals, social media management.
Mm-hmm.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people understand the work that comes with it outside of just the creative part.
Yeah.
So I honestly would love to see other people take the steps that you would take and say, let me find a place, a space, and let me cultivate something that I have. But I also remember when you're cultivating, don't shortchange people.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you say, well, it's going to cost X amount of dollars to be this level of creativity, don't go get a big building that, you can't financially deal with. Get a smaller, intimate space and let it build and let it develop from
Right.
there. I think what will happen is when people do that, what will happen is people will see you doing that and start saying, hey, can you come do such and such? Then you start getting the feedback and things that you want. But that's the one thing I haven't seen in Augusta for a very, very long time is just going back to Libra, doing events inside of these small spaces, providing platforms for people and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You got to do that for yourself. And I promise you, if you just gamble, if you say, well, you know what, I'm going to do it, once every 2 months or whatever, that's 6 times a year. That means people will be able to look forward to seeing what you have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll be able to determine what direction you go.
Yeah.
But,
And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of investments.
Yeah.
And that part is, I think I can say now, as I get older, like the investment of time and money and things, to where back when I first started, people would kind of laugh at me because they thought I was doing too much.
Doing too much.
Like that, I guess because I had started doing a lot of things a lot earlier, like even down to like paperwork, like, and getting things getting stuff like that organized. They'd be like, no, you would be surprised how offended people would be, because it's like, okay, well, let me go get my paperwork together and I'll send it to you, because you need to have rights to my stuff to be able to use it. Or mad because like I won't post something because you didn't ask my permission to use it. So it's like, those things early on that I learned and that I listened and watched the people where I wanted to be. That's who I would pay attention to. Yeah. And so I have, it was important for me to have a quality product from the paperwork to the performance. And I think my challenge now is that people kind of see me as like over here. And now I need that side that's like kind of like with the people and talking to people and being on the marketing side, that, like engaging with people. I don't really engage with people a lot. I just give them the product, because I kind of hide behind the talent side. And haven't really leaned in on like personality and things like that. So it's a lot. It's a lot to think about and it's a lot to consider. And I just say that to say that even, like appreciating like what you're saying and just how I'm viewed, like I don't really get a lot of feedback a lot. But it's also just to say that there's still a lot of work that I still have to do on my end to really get out there and be in a place where I can make some real money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Most importantly.
Yeah. But but in this business, it changes every day.
It does.
So even anybody that you can think of that's in this space, whether they're top tier veterans or whatever, everybody, if you're going to be successful, you got to continue to learn and continue to work. So, because it always changes. So I get it. I get that, and I even get that perspective too. To be honest with you, most people don't realize I'm a homebody. Like I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I go places and I kind of develop this position just because of the work that I'm in. But if I was not doing this, if I was just strictly a graphic designer or something like that, you would never see me.
Yeah, I'm not built for the entertainment, because I like to be out with my people.
Yeah.
But I don't like to network. Like, I don't even know if you see me out, because I know we'll be in some same spaces every now and then, and I'll speak to the people I know. But if there's nobody in that room that I don't know, I'm not talking. And I have to, because it's like I'm a part of the council now and in different things, and I want to get to know these people that I haven't met, but I don't like to talk to them.
It'll work. You'll get to that, Slade.
So it's that's just where I'm at now. It's just like the talent is there. Like, everybody knows the talent is there, but it's like, how can I'm looking to break through and connect in a certain way to where people aren't waiting on my music to experience AE the Cool, I guess.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, I agree. Ironically, I'm in the same space, just from the social media standpoint, and like I said, even getting back on top of this platform, because a lot of times, even from a business perspective, even outside of being an artist or a creative, you still have to market yourself.
Right.
You still have to develop those connections with people as well too. So I get it. I totally get it.
But yeah, I know I veered kind of off the music scene part on purpose.
No,
but
I'm really not. To be honest with you, it's just honestly, this event fell in my lap, and it's just like grown legs, and it's like to the point, and even not even just with this, just like shout out to Karen Gordon, but when she calls me, I always end up with more work. Like, I was not supposed to be working and pushing Food Truck Friday. I got a call to do the flyer, then the next thing I know, I'm directing the whole event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Working with Banner Brothers. So that's really the main reason why I have not been able to function as an artist.
Yeah.
Like, I just went in the studio probably like a few weeks ago. That was the first time in a year I've recorded anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get it. But so tell me, you asked me a question over the weekend too about how I felt about this new top 10 list?
It was like the top 50 artists. I have to look at it again, because I only looked at it that one time, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm talking to Doria. Let me send it."
Yeah.
It was Atlanta specifically?
I think it was Atlanta specifically.
Yeah.
You tell me how you feel.
I mean, I would have to look at it again to remember all the names, but I feel like it was.
Yeah, I think
it was pretty valid. I was with you. I think you wanted to. Who was it? You thought to switch Gucci and Jeezy.
Yeah. Switch Gucci Man with Jeezy.
Yeah.
And then Andre is my favorite rapper, so I'm gonna stand on the mountaintop arguing with people all day long about that. I don't care how they feel. Well, yeah, I'm just curious to get people's takes on these different things, because it's weird. Just like I was talking to Slim a few minutes ago, it's like, fam, people get caught up in the moment. I think they're prisoners of the moment. So it's like something that's really, really hot right now, but you forget this other person was here for 25 plus years doing that.
Like, you're making your choice off of emotion.
Yeah.
And how they made you feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When this person been doing this way longer than this, and you're trying to tell me this person is better than them?
Yeah.
No.
I saw a post recently that they were talking about Michael Jackson and Chris Brown. Don't get upset. It's okay.
No, I responded to that post.
You saw that post?
I did.
But I think for me, stuff like that, I feel like if the artist wouldn't be the artist that they were without that person, you can't do the comparison.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, me personally, I feel like you can't compare Michael Jackson to Chris Brown, because if there were no Michael Jackson, there would be no Chris Brown.
you can't compare Michael Jackson to a lot of people. Really,
Yeah,
he has the highest selling album ever
exactly.
in a time where it was no streaming. It was, you know what I'm saying, no free, no Spotify, Apple. People had to physically go buy
Yeah.
70 million copies.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think there's a difference between the best of all time and then the best of our time.
Right.
Like there's
I
a
agree.
difference. And
I
I
agree.
don't think people understand that there's a
don't.
difference between that. That there are people in this world who literally changed the game of whatever industry that they were in.
Yeah.
You can't compare anybody to them. Even if somebody comes along and they surpass their numbers and things like that, there still will never be another one of those persons. That's how I feel about Michael Jordan. Now, I don't talk about it a lot.
Oh, really?
Because I'm not a sports girly, okay?
Right.
I'm 5'1" and I can't jump and I'm slow. So I have no weight in this conversation. But I think there's no one better than Michael Jordan.
Man, you my
but
friend.
it's just because of like how he changed his entire industry. And like, you know, from what I know, it just doesn't seem like anybody else has and will ever, you know, reach that level of impact. And so there's just some people in the world, because in my opinion, before Michael Jackson, it was James Brown. And then before James Brown, I don't know who it was. There's really no one I can think of to name, honestly. No disrespect to anybody, but it's just like one of those things. Like it's just the impact.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. Like Beyonce is the greatest of our time, not of all time.
Yeah.
Ooh, bleep that out. I don't want nobody.
No.
I don't want nobody knocking on my door.
I'm gonna let the beehive
Please,
get you, 'cause you know
please. They better not. You know, Michael Jackson, guys. That's the only person that I was saying.
Yeah.
Please don't come get me.
Yeah.
Please. But
nah,
she is.
Yeah, no, she is. I agree. And yeah, like I said, and for me to be honest with you, my only input in a lot of these conversations, most of the time I'm defending somebody that I believe in or whatever. But honestly, I really wish we could get away from the comparisons, because I think what happens is, but I'm going to tell you two things I think. One, I think the reason that we have these comparisons is that we're trying to justify a certain level of entertainment. Rico Love had an interview, and it's one of my favorite interviews he did on the Breakfast Club, and he said, somewhere along the line, black music got so great that people didn't want to be great anymore. Meaning that somebody said, I don't want to be great. I'm going to be over here, and we're going to be a less version. And we're going to come over here, and we got our own thing. We don't want to be great like that. And then what happened was a lot of, during that time, and I remember this era, during that time, a lot of superstar level artists dumbed down to kind of compete with those who were not as talented as them. And he's so true. And because what happens now is, now we're able to even the playing field with people who are iconic, who are, you know, legendary and trendsetters, to people who really have just mass produce a bunch of music.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have like people going, they consider it platinum, but it's hard to say that from the perspective of, again, I can pay $10 a month, $15 a month, and listen to all the music in the world that I want. But for the other artists that came before us, you had to go in that store and spend $10, $15, $20 for the project.
Yeah.
I don't. It's no comparison there. So yeah, but
I think it's weird now. Weird is a weird word, but in a time where everybody wants to be like famous, and where music is the easiest, because you could just throw a beat on, and as long as it rhymes, and I'm on the phone like, okay, like I find myself, and I am like guilty of it too. Like I'll be scrolling and it's funny, and you hitting all the pockets and everything, and I'm like, oh my God, and I done sat there and watched it 5 times, and automatically they'll end up on the BET Awards. Yeah. Like it's a crazy time to where, you know, someone who, you know, like trained and like went to school, and it's just like, I don't know what to do, you know, and it's no shade to them, because they're putting themselves out there.
But
It's like I get what you're saying.
You have to compete. That's you see what I'm
I
saying?
do.
You
And I lose because I don't be out here.
Yeah.
I can't dance. I won't be here.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. Like I totally get everything that you're saying. It's like, so you mean to tell me all these years I've developed this skill set or this talent? Now you're telling me somebody without the skill set and talent, I got to compete with them.
Yeah.
And they have none of the same skill set and talent.
It's so hard because I don't want to be an old head about it.
I'm an old head.
You are an old head about it?
Listen, I'm finna start listening. I got a bunch of videos saved on my TikTok and different platforms. I'm responding to everybody. Because what I'm noticing that's happening is that if nobody says anything, even just from a local level, however you want to do it, if nobody ever says anything, these things continue to grow bigger and bigger and more problems. Like the biggest thing with the Kendrick and Drake beef to me was that it was culture versus commerce. Meaning that to all the people that say the most ridiculous things like, oh, don't nobody listen to Kendrick Lamar. Bro, just 2 years ago, he swept the Grammys from the hip-hop standpoint and had the highest selling hip-hop tour worldwide. So nobody's listening to it? Well, who bought all the tickets?
Right.
Who's buying his tickets if that's the case? Right. But it's because his music, one, is more so of a music for medicine that I would say. And then also it's not mass produced. It's not like every 2-3 months you look up new single, new mixtape, collaboration album. So to see everything that happened, and the funny part is, again, the artists that I love, I stand on a mountaintop.
Yeah.
So when everything first started, I was getting the texts and the emails and the DMs. Yeah, Kendrick can't keep up, this, that, and the third. And then to see how all of that played out. Yeah. And then for the world to say, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I can be a dope writer, a dope lyricist, a dope artist, and still be commercially successful? Yeah. Yeah, that's a sign of the times. And it's needed. So for me, it was deeper than just those two. It was just for people to see we can have quality. Yeah. Both can exist in the world.
Yeah, and both are needed. Like it's a balance, and that's why I agree with what you're saying about how the people need to kind of back up off the lid, because everybody, can exist in a space, and people can enjoy it, and people can take what they need from it, because it's just an energy shift, and it just depends on what you're looking for at that time, and music is one of the easiest ways to do so. So,
because if I'm in the party, I do want to hear some Chris Brown. I do want to hear, certain records. And if I'm at the home reflecting or relaxing, I'm going to listen to Robert Glasper. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on but I need all of it, though. I can't just have just one.
Right.
But, it's just really interesting to see how people paint these different narratives. Yeah. Who's your top 5 singers?
My top 5 singers? Ooh. My top 5 singers, I would have to say, I don't think in any particular order. Okay, good. Order. So I would say Brandy. Okay. Whitney Houston. Okay. Jasmine Sullivan. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to hear voices in my head. Love Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu.
Gotcha. Dope list. Dope. Well-rounded list. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Anything else you want to leave the people before we get out of here?
Oh my gosh. Well, please listen to my music.
Yes.
Stream if you're in Augusta. Come to the Cool Down every second Saturday at Tribeca Lounge. And just, if you are watching, thank you for all of your love and support. I'm going to be doing bigger and greater things. And y'all just tune in to see them.
We out. Y'all have a good one.